If you make videos to demonstrate your expertise, you may have run into a problem called information blindness. This is where your teaching gets tuned out because your viewer feels like they've heard the same thing before a million times. It seems unfair because you know your take is different, fresh, exciting, and new, yet no one out there seems to care. But they will. In a moment, how to make the information blind see again with the eyes of a beginner. You know what the real problem is with teaching videos? They have to double as sales videos. After all, they are demonstrating expertise for a reason, and this generates a trust issue. But the most people know to do when they stand in front of a camera and teach is try to get to the point as quickly as possible. There's nothing wrong with that. I get rid of extra words with absolute total ruthlessness. But after all that work, all you get is disposable teaching. We can do so much better. Hi, I'm Steve Washer, and this is the 5-Minute Authority. The thing is, more clever words aren't going to fix this because the real problem is that the teaching itself is just the tip of the iceberg and people want to know what's under the iceberg. Why? So they can trust the information, so they know it's safe to consume. But in video, most of us learn to establish trust based on manipulation, telling your story in a bad Hollywood script. Like, oh, I was picking empty tuna cans out of dumpsters, and then I bought Viddle Whittle, and now I own Downton Abbey and a private jet. It's like there's no gear between reverse and overdrive. Okay, so how do we deal with this iceberg of information? To see it clearly, let's flip the iceberg on its back. The tip of the iceberg is the tip we're giving in our video. Then right above it, the benefits of that tip. And above that, well, nobody thinks about that. But that's where the answer is. Typically, the only people who use this level are expert witnesses, who, by the way, are the only people who actually get paid to testify in court. It's because there's a higher truth up there. Its purpose is to produce a benefit down here, but mostly we ignore it, even though it controls our life, like gravity. We don't pay much attention to gravity, but if it's the year 1903, no one is going to trust your tip video about how to start your so-called flying machine because you haven't given them any reason to trust you more than they trust gravity. But if you're Orville and Wilbur Wright, you can pick out a higher idea from that level, maybe the Bernoulli principle, which is how a propeller moves an airplane. So now you can have a tip movie about how to start your new airplane without slicing yourself to ribbons. Then we can talk about solutions, because solutions come to life only when a higher idea meets a problem, they fall in love, and 9 months later produce a bouncing baby benefit. Higher idea, Bernoulli principle. Problem, being stuck on the ground. Solution, an aeroplane. A tip is the creative manifestation of that solution, only now it's based on the animating idea. Or in a marketing system, one of 3 animating ideas that lead to the dozens of benefits people can get from you. I've never worked with an entrepreneur who did not have 3 animating ideas capable of powering their marketing. And the best thing is that when they rediscover them, they rediscover their natural authority. This is especially helpful for a coach or consultant, or any business that solves a problem. For the Wright brothers, one animating idea may have been the Bernoulli principle. 2, that propellers become less efficient the higher in the sky they go. And 3, that air resistance is double the velocity of the aircraft. Experts take note. The less salesy the idea, the more persuasive it is. I'm not saying that any of this is easy. If you're a life coach in the 21st century, your animating ideas will be a lot different than the Wright brothers' 19th century ideas. Well, maybe. Anyway, it takes some deep thought, but that's okay. That kind of thinking is what authority providers tend to do because it helps their audience see with a fresh new perspective just how fresh and new a business's perspective can be. And obviously it ends information blindness. So what are the 3 animating ideas that gave birth to your solutions? Every video you make from now on depends on your answer. Scary? Maybe, but it should be exciting because from now on, your teaching can be as sticky as a toddler's hands in a chocolate factory. I'm Steve Washer. See you next time on the 5-Minute Authority.